Oh, dear me, oh my. Hello and welcome. I'm here standing in for Thomas. Because, well, he had to go cry in the corner because Sony was stupid again. Now, look, I'll say I haven't played the newer version of Demon Souls, so I can't really say a whole lot about it. But I will say I will probably likely have criticisms about it if I ever did a video about it. But that doesn't mean it was completely 100% worthless or anything. And Bluepoint did nice stuff. But today's video has two main subjects we want to talk about: Sony and Bluepoint, and Microsoft. Two really big things in the game industry that are terrifyingly terrible to happen. So, let's start with Sony and Bluepoint. Bluepoint was acquired by Sony in, I believe, 2021, and they got shut down just recently. Now, before they got bought, they had several games come out. After, they didn't have a single game come out. Supposedly, they helped with the God of War Ragnarok, but otherwise, they didn't have a single game come out after Sony bought them. So the whole time, they didn't do a single fucking game. And then it got shut down in 2026. Bought in 2021, shut down in 2026 without a single fucking game out. What in the fuck? Like, this is like when I talk about how a lot of corporations in the game industry are just burning and wasting money. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Why did you buy them to have them do fucking nothing, basically? Now, there's two things to note here. And both of these things have no actual confirmed information. So, first thing, what did Sony purchase Bluepoint for? Unknown. The price was apparently never disclosed, so we don't know how much they paid for them. Obviously, there's probably people with theories and guesses on what, but yeah, we don't know. And then, what happened to Bluepoint? There are several stories being ran, but the honest truth is, there's no evidence of any of them. And they're mostly all the same. All either saying from undisclosed resources and informants and things. So, we don't know 100%. But, I mean, to be fair, it's believable, but let's go over it. I just wanted to note those. So, regardless of how much Sony paid for Bluepoint, I can't imagine it was cheap by any degree. So, all that money was basically burnt into a fucking furnace for nothing. And, like, the main points of the story that's going around about what happened with Bluepoint is that basically they spent a lot of time trying to convince Sony to let them do Bloodborne Remaster. Sony made them supposedly work on a God of War live action game, which got canceled because, they shut down the studio they put in charge of it. And that, they're just gone. That was it. They spent time trying to supposedly convince them to let them make a Bloodborne remaster. They got stuck on a God of War live service game, and then they canceled it and then shut the studio down. It's just like, seriously? I mean, at the absolute fucking bare minimum, you could have just let them work on more IPs that you fucking own. Like, there's several IPs you could have literally had them do shit with. And you shut the entire studio down. Like, I mean, even if they somehow bought Bluepoint for just several $1,000s, I mean, for a giant corporation, that doesn't seem like a shit ton compared to the millions and billions that other shit happens. But yeah, I don't really think that's likely. But regardless, Whatever they paid for it, just fucking poofed into the Ethernet. Worthless, gone, and dead. A whole corporation that you could have made use of releasing your fucking IPs. Like, the entire PS5 generation has no identity, in my personal belief. And this is coming from someone who supported Sony since fucking PS1. I've supported the PlayStation platform since the PS1. Now, obviously, the beginning of the PS3 was a wacky ride because I didn't get to the Metal Gear Solid 4 shit. But after, they started getting shit in order and fucking from their failed, terrible plan with the thing, I got more on board with it because, Microsoft's failure rate and dying console in the late game because of its incapability of keeping up with the insane storage requirements of Western games, was a problem. So, late game, they definitely fucking pulled that through. And I've certainly criticized fucking Sony. Don't think I'm saying, I'm a fanboy, per se. But, I mean, I've definitely had my moments of fucking criticizing them and fucking being pissed off at them. So, but, this is how could you keep getting more stupid? You have no fucking real identity this generation. People could label franchises, especially when it comes to PS1, 2, and 3. 4 gets a little hazy, but 5 is just nothing. It's an era of remasters and ports. And almost none of them are yours. It's just there's nothing there that, the PS5 selling point at this point is you can have a physical disc that may actually contain the game that you can play in the future, unlike game key cards and micro slot fucking burning into a trash can. That's basically the PS5 selling point at this point. You could have used Bluepoint to fucking work on IPs you had access to, and at least, remaster those or something. Do something it's so mind-blowing you would buy an entire company, and they didn't get a single game out. Now, fair, this isn't the first time this kind of thing has happened, but it's just, this kind of shit is just insane. To buy a company, have them work on something for years, and it fucking led to nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. It's just a waste of money, waste of resources, and everything is fucking horrible. This generation is such a fucking joke. It's such a fucking joke. I just can't believe how fucking incompetent the game industry has gone. I mean, it's been years since many of us have been predicting all this shit. And it's just happening in real time. Flushing down the fucking toilet. And, the AAA market, the giant corporations and shit. The time is here. They either need to really address the problems that are going on now, or we're talking about a real big shakeup in what the fuck's going on in the game industry. And Microsoft is an excellent example of that future. Now, on the Xbox side of things, if you've been keeping up with gaming information, so Phil Spencer is gone. He's retired, and the other lady who was going to be his replacement is also gone. So Phil retired. I'm not sure what the lady technically, if she retired or something of that. She was always supposedly believed to be Spencer's replacement, so it was deemed really strange that she was let go too. And in their place, they got replaced by somebody who worked in Microsoft in their AI division. Yikes! That is just a big, horrifying yikes. Yikes! I mean, the Xbox brand is already burnt the living fuck out of its like it burnt the fucking physical owners because of the online requirements and shit that they started with the Xbox One and carried into the series and fucking doubled down on in the series instead of lightening it up like they did with the One after the initial announcement of how that fucking thing. They burned through all the physical owners, they burned through the collectors, they burned through their console owners, they burned through their fan base, they're laying waste to their fucking, but like, they raised the price like what? At least two, I want to say 3 times last year. I know it was at least 2 times, but I want to say, was it 3? I might be miscounting or remembering, but I know it was at least twice. You were the worst console this generation, the last 2 generations, and you raise your price to be more than your competitors. What are you doing? Like, I really want to believe the conspiracy theory people came up with that they're doing it to push people to the Game Pass. Because that's like the only logical thing about it. Honestly, it's just, what the fuck? But yeah, at this point, it's probably safe to say that, like, as a console, the Xbox is probably pretty much dead. I mean, a lot of the releases have not been complete on disc. The console is outrageously expensive. Again, it's the worst performing one. Physical selections and sections for Xbox stuff is so small at so many stores. Like, GameStop gives them more support than fucking Walmart and shit. It's ridiculous. It's just, what the fuck? And, after COVID, like, the whole fucking numbers for their fucking live service and shit for the Game Pass has been dwindling and going down because a lot of people, luckily, happily, a lot of people have been realizing live service shit like Netflix and shit is pre-cancerous to shit you like. Because a lot of it doesn't get any physical representation to be like, you'd be like, oh, I want to watch that, like, that Yonder Wonder thing, or whatever the hell was it. Oh, what's that? There's no DVDs? There's no Blu-ray? It's not even available on Netflix or anything? It's on Disney? It's nowhere? Yeah. A lot of people are realizing that they're being cut off from shit. And there's been interesting several studies showing younger people are leaning more towards physical shit again, and in the game industry itself, to retro shit. Previous generations, from not so long ago to super old. And I mean, that's not shocking. There's decades of fucking content on the internet telling you of all kinds of fantastic, amazing games that exist on all kinds of fucking old software and shit. And, you look at, like I said, you look at the modern landscape shit. The Switch 2 barely has any real physical games right now. And if you want to preserve shit, well, fuck the Switch 2. That's definitely nowhere close to being a place for it for now. Maybe in the future it might get better, but right now, stone cold dead as far as I care. Microsoft, fuck, that's deader than the Switch 2 to me. And, like, it's just, what are these people doing? What are they doing? I'll tell you what they're doing. I'll tell you what I think they're doing. Now, we haven't talked about stop killing games in a while, and I'm not gonna do a like full blown thing. They have several videos talking about what's been going on that front, and that's the best way to really get that. So I'm not really gonna dwell in that. But I'm gonna tell you this: there was a lot of fucking people and corporations defying the idea of stop killing games, and then to me, it is very easy to see why, in my opinion. They're not afraid of giving us the tools to run servers and shit. That's not what they're worried about. They'll use any excuse they could think of to fucking get out of doing it, of course. They don't want you fucking playing old shit. I mean, seriously, at this point, like, Nintendo has, like, all its retro shit as fucking rentable content that you have to sign up and pay additional add-on subscriptions for and shit. Which is stupid as fuck. I don't know why anyone even does that. I really don't know why anyone even does that. You don't get to own it. You're just winning it. It's even worse than just fucking buying it digital. You literally have no fucking rights to it. Even less than normal digital purchasing. And that way they can control it. Way more than ever. Because they don't want you to play the old shit unless they want you to. Ubisoft doesn't want you fucking playing Crew 1. They want you to play the new game. Whether you like it or not. Whether you think it's good or not. And I swear that's the bigger picture. They want to ensure there's less shit to go back to. They want to do anything they can to ensure you don't have the ability to play all those shit. And I feel like that's a lot of the bigger reason they want to actually include, like, any company includes fucking online mandatory shit for what is literally a single player game. I don't care what the fuck you say. That's your attention. You want to have control when it starts, when it ends, and when you get to kill it and tell your audience to move on to the next game, give me money. I don't give a fuck if you have childhood memories or anything of this game. Fuck you. Give me more money. Like, that's my subjective opinion on all that shit. But yeah, like, consoles aren't looking good at. I will be curious to see what even goes on at this point. The Switch 2 is a fucking disaster as far as I care when it comes to, like, actual proper physical games. The Xbox is basically dead. I mean, I'll be surprised if Microsoft even continues on with anything at this point. Like, I really feel like, and I've said several times, the Game Pass is the future, and if that fails, I think they're dead. Because they've bought their brand so much from the 360, which is amazing considering the 360 itself, to me, is still one of the worst fucking consoles. And by worst, I'm not talking about what games or who supported it or what fun there was on there. I'm talking about as a console, a functioning console, how long it lasts, and how well it was built. The 360 is one of the worst fucking consoles. It had such a high fail rate of hell. Microsoft had to go through fucking hell to, like, keep their reputation from going into the fucking gutter because of how bad it was. And they still pulled out being the quote-unquote the winners for the majority of that generation in the West, at least. Until, like, the last quarter of that generation, that's when the PS3 was really kicking the 360's ass. The over-increasing size of fucking games and the limitations of DVDs and shit and the Xbox software itself were not keeping up with, like, the fucking limits that the PS3 was able to keep pushing. Which was one of the advantages it ended up having with its complicated ass shit. But yeah, you know, they've gone through everything. Like, I can't imagine Microsoft really putting another fucking console out at this point. Because they're pushing digital so hard, and they clearly don't give a fuck about physical much anymore. So what's the point of really, like, the only way I could see them doing a console is something like the Steam box thing, where it's like, it completely abandons physical completely. It's just a hard drive thing to play digital crap on. And even then, I still don't think there's high odds, because if they get the Game Pass to work the way they've been weighing, where you can put it on your PC and everything, put it on the Switch, put it on your phone, put it on this and that, like, why bother with that? Save your own money and just focus on winning your service and hope you can somehow achieve being even remotely similar to Steam, basically. Which, in the long run, I don't really see that working out well, unless unless Gabe Newell kicks the bucket, and then the apocalypse for Steam begins. I say it now, and I've said it before, like, when Gabe Newell's gone, I really doubt Steam is going to keep staying how it is for a very long time. Like, maybe for a few years, but I would see the downfall slowly in the corporate hands and greed slowly moving in the second Gabe fucking falls to the ground. Unless he has, like, a fucking stonewalk hard plan for when he fucking dies to somehow prevent that. That would be my fear with that platform. So, honestly, things are looking terrible. Terrible when it comes to AAA. Now, to be fair, I usually don't care too much about too many AAA games. I'm in a lot of the niche and RPGs and stuff, not really a lot of the AAA market. So, at the end of the day, the only thing I'm concerned about is me getting to fucking own my games. And, with Microsoft dying, like, I basically haven't been a Microsoft person at all since the 360 era. For a good chunk of 360 era, yeah, I had a lot of 360 games. I did. I had a lot of games on there before I more focused on the PS3 of that. And I liked the original Xbox. But Xbox One, you could just watch my video on the launch thing reaction of the launch to get my opinion of how Microsoft went forward, in my opinion. But yeah, you would think maybe I'm happy about Microsoft essentially probably dying. I'm not. It's bad. It's bad for us all for that. And you want to know why? Less competition. We need competition to keep the shit going. If there ain't competition, the shit like Sony did with, like, the fucking PS4 versus the Xbox One with, like, sharing, that would have probably not happened at all if there was no competition. Competition is what keeps us having more rights and shit. If there's less competition, it means they can ingest more bullshit on top of it. If Microsoft leaves and Switch is just doing their own fucking thing, then Sony doesn't really have any competition, and if they just let their morals fucking throw into the ghetto, there's nothing to stop them from just fucking us up completely, similar to, like, the Switch 2 is doing and shit. So, yeah, that's pretty concerning. So, another Sony studio shut down. I mean, like, they shut down the Japan studio that had so many of the fun, wacky little IPs. Like, it just... What are you doing, Sony? You fucking idiots. There's so many opportunities for you to try and fucking pull yourself out of your fucking stupid gunnel against your competition, and you throw it away. Microsoft did the same thing. They had an opportunity to fucking, like, seriously, if I was in charge of Microsoft doing all this fucking Japanese censorship shit, I would have just been like, this is our chance. This is our chance to fucking take Japan. We could be the anti-censorship people. We could be like, put all your fucking Japanese visual novels. We don't care. We want titties to fly free. Like, that was the moment. They could have literally fucking took it. But no, we can't do that, because we're fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. there were so many opportunities for both companies to take advantage of, and they threw them all down the gutter like fucking idiots. I just, Lord, I don't know. I don't really know what to fucking even think about these fucking clowns anymore at this point. The Switch 2 is always an abomination to me. There's a chance that it might, recover similar to like the PS3, where they'll figure out what the fuck they're doing and have less to no game key cards and have more actual proper physical releases, but I feel like that's going to be way more in the future than sooner. But it might happen. I'm going to be very afraid of what the PS6, even if we even get a PlayStation 6. I mean, that's not carrying the rumors about this probably not getting a new console generation for the other parties anytime soon. Like, Nintendo's probably lucky they actually put those out, because all the increasing computer parts has started a lot of rumor mongering that Sony and Microsoft might be in for the long haul with their consoles similar to the PS3 and 360. Like, I think those still hold the record for the longest console generations, I believe. So, and I mean, it's fair. I mean, personally, I think Sony's fine in that regard, though, because I mean, the PS5 runs really well. I've said for years and years and years, graphic fidelity is way, 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 way ahead of what the fuck we should probably be doing right now, because of storage and everything is just bonkers too much for some of this shit. So, like, honestly, I think the PS5's in a okay place when it comes to probably, trying to get more years out of it. But like Xbox, I don't know what Xbox is going to do. But I'd love to hear your opinion on all this shit. Are you sad about Blue Point going down? I am. I mean, like I said, I didn't play the Demon Souls version they did. I mean to one day if I ever find it cheap. But they certainly had talent. I seen like what they did with the Shadow Colossus. Like that turned out pretty fucking good, to be honest. I know there's a few like similar to Demon Souls. They, put a few touches here and there, artistically changes, and I get that to a certain extent, understanding that. That's why we have the original version still, which is good. But they certainly didn't deserve. Like, they definitely was a team with talent and good. Like, I mean, seriously, they could have just, like, Sony could have used them, like, what is that? Digital Foundry, I think they're called, or Digital Clips. That's what they're called. Digital Clips. Digital Clips does a lot of these retro collections and stuff with a lot of these companies. That could have been Sony's version of doing a lot of their fucking properties or something. I don't know. Just shutting them down, like, it just feels so stupid. Fuck. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So much wasted fucking money. So much wasted fucking money. So much wasted fucking money that could have went to employees to fucking keep them hired to do shit instead of laying them off, firing them and shit. Fucking hell. I'm done. I'm out of here. If you got any opinions, leave a comment down below. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Screw this shit. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm out of here.